like to welcome everyone to this morning's 8th grade promotion ceremony. When you think about a day like this, the weather is beautiful outside. We've got all these amazing young people before us, great parents. Just feel really blessed to be part of the Colonial School District and the Colonial community. Again, I'd like to welcome all of you to this morning's ceremony. I just want to say before I give a couple brief comments to our students. I know it's a little stressful with parking, with seating, with all of those kinds of things, and I'd ask you to try your best to focus on the positive of these kids today. If there's any error in the program that you see, don't sweat it. Please let us know afterward. It's very simple to make those corrections and make sure you get a keepsake that's accurate for your particular child. People really work hard to not make errors, but they do happen sometimes, and I don't want anyone to stress about it. 3 years ago, I met you as 6th graders, students. We met in the library. You came over from CES, and we talked about middle school being a transition. And I told you we had a lot in common because 13 years ago I had a transition too, and I was scared and all of those things we talked about. And I said, listen, with transition there comes all kinds of great things. Even though it's scary at first, it ends up, we keep growing each and every transition. And I gave you 2 goals at that time, and you've heard them for 3 years, and you've heard them every single morning. And that is be nice and do your best. I told you if you did that, it would be a smooth or smoother transition, although there'd still be some ups and downs. I don't think you were aware of it, but really what I was trying to do was build a foundation of 4 principles that I really believe are a plan for you moving forward to be happy in life. It's my plan, but that doesn't mean it's the only plan. Obviously, there's lots of ways to be happy. There's lots of ways to be successful. It all depends on how you measure success. But I really want to offer you these 4 principles. 2 that you've heard for 3 years. Again, be nice, do your best. If you just do those alone, you'll separate yourself from lots of people, because lots of people aren't willing to go the extra mile. They aren't willing to stay up until 4 o'clock to study for a test. They aren't willing to stay late at work to make a difference. So if you just do that, and if you can make people feel good when they're around you, you're a positive person. You make them feel good about themselves. You serve as a mentor. So if you're nice to people and you do your best, that's half the battle. The next 2 principles I want to give you to help serve you in the next transition, which is really from being a young kid and teenager to being an adult. In 4 years, a lot of you will be voting. You may be in the armed services. You may be working or moving on to college. So the 3rd principle that I'd like to offer for you, and this one is really a tough one. It's tough even for adults, and that is value feedback that you get from people. The reason it's difficult is because sometimes it's not pleasant, and people will deliver advice or feedback in lots of different ways. It might not be the way you prefer. People won't always be gentle about their feedback. Again, everybody has a different delivery style, but what's really important is that you reflect on the feedback people give you. You guys as kids, sometimes you call it getting in trouble, getting yelled at, being preached to, whatever you want to call it, it's advice in my book. It helps make us better. The beauty of reflecting on feedback is you ultimately get to decide if you want to apply it to your life or not. I mean, not all sources are going to be good ones. You've learned that in your English classes, history classes. You get to reject it. So sometimes you may get it from a source that's trying to tear you down or hurt you, doesn't like you. But you may be getting it from really great sources, people that really care about you. Because guess what? Although feedback can sometimes be difficult for the person receiving it, It's really hard to give honest feedback to people because you know you risk hurting someone's feelings or making them feel funny about what you just said. Okay, but please, as you move forward in life, as that third principle, value when people give you advice and get past how it felt. Just reflect on it and then determine if it can make you a better person or if, you know what, that's fine, but that's really not for me. Okay, and then the last principle, which I think is by far the hardest one, especially for people your age, that is, have faith that if you are nice and work really hard and value people's feedback, are willing to make some changes and grow, have faith that you will get where you want to get. Because I think a lot of us kind of, instead of having faith, we think we have to make everything happen. We know where we want to be. We should have made that team. We should have gotten that job. We should have gotten into that college. And that other kid got it because they knew somebody or whatever it is. And we kind of can get bitter about it. Instead of getting bitter when you don't get what you were hoping for, I think you need to chalk it up as, hey, that just wasn't the right place for me. It wasn't the right time for me. And I have to have faith that because I'm being a really good person and I'm really working hard and I'm trying to grow and I'm willing to make changes to make myself a better person, a better friend, a better son, a better husband, whatever it is you're trying to do, have faith that it will come around, because I absolutely know, guys, that that's the way the universe works. If you can employ those three principles, it will go your way if you just keep the faith and keep doing those three things that you ultimately have control over. You don't really have control over whether or not you get something. That might be in somebody else's hands, but you can certainly make a very strong case to get to where you ultimately want to be. So again, I leave you with that. As moving on now to young adults, I think you're ready to take on these next two principles. As sixth graders, you certainly weren't ready for that. And you know what? Some days I'm not ready for it either. Okay? But I really think if you don't have a plan, I think this is a really good place to start and see what happens. Because I really know from experience with my own children at home, that it absolutely does work. I want to end by saying to you students, I want to thank you for being really nice people. I can't think of one student sitting here that hasn't been nice to me in some way, whether you're holding a door, saying hello. And I don't think you always know how much it means to adults when you're nice to them. It really does mean a lot, just a smile and a hello. I also want to thank you for giving your very best effort in most cases, whether it be in your classes, you know, on the playing field, on the stage, wherever it is that you have so many awesome talents, for always giving your best. I also want to thank you for the feedback you've given me. You know, and that goes for parents as well. My colleagues, people that have given me all kinds of feedback and advice over the years that I really value. And again, it hasn't always been pleasant to receive it, but it certainly, I think, has made me a better person, and I continue to look for feedback in the future to continue growing. And finally, I want to thank you for giving, just kind of building on the faith I already have in our youth. You know, sometimes you hear about when you say you're a middle school principal, people kind of, you know, make all kinds of faces and noises, and I always say, I think the kids today are so much better than we were when we were kids. I think they're so much smarter. They're under such a microscope, and they're still able to do such a great job. So kids, thanks for restoring that faith that I have in you each and every day. We'll miss you moving on to the high school, or you know, hopefully you're going to PW. We'll miss you. We invite you to come back and visit us, and we will never forget you. I want to thank you again for being you, the class of 2020. And my best wishes to you and all that you desire in life. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we're starting a new tradition here. I think it's a great one. We're going to have a student speaker other than our class president. We've always had the class president speak, but this year we invited 8th grade students that wanted to speak before you to write a speech, and then we had our English teachers take a look at it, and they settled on this one. It's an awesome one. Sophia Mahmood, please come up.
Good morning, teachers and staff, family and friends, students and more students. I am Sophia Mahmood, musician, melodramatic teenager, and your fellow classmate. I'd like to start my speech with a short anecdote, which, spoiler alert, may or may not become an overarching theme in my speech. My cousin once told me that our school was like its own functioning internet. I, for one, took it as a compliment. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized just how right he was. After all, our school has literally created our own memes, inside jokes that no one else could ever understand. Hi, my name is Robbie. I consider my time at CMS more of a character development period. Don't get me wrong, I learned quite a bit along the way. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But my biggest takeaways from my time here have more to do with becoming the person I am today. One of the most important things I learned here is that no matter how unimportant a subject may seem to be, there is always, always something to learn. I joke about mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell, but there is always a broader point to our curriculum, a big picture that more of us should seek the opportunity to look for, these level 2 questions that your teachers always try and push you to answer. Ask more why and how questions. And I don't mean, why are we learning this? Or how can I get a good grade? I mean, why is this important? Think more about how things affect you and how you affect the people around you. This sense of self-awareness that higher level thinking evokes is what differentiates you as an original leader ready to take charge. So there's my advice as far as education goes. As far as character goes, can't help you. You're all lost causes. Just kidding. Now, I will say that there are people you may not always get along with, and you'll have to deal with them for the rest of your life. Mr. Taylor once told me to always be an advocate for yourself. It is important to stand up for yourself when necessary, and to do it with a point. Don't just stick it to the man for the sake of sticking it to the man. Make sure you understand what your intention is. That is what separates a credible leader from a bully who just abuses their power. You want to make yourself happy, but don't intentionally make others unhappy in the process. In simpler terms, don't just be a rebel. Be a rebel with a cause. I am a firm believer that the class of 2020 can and will do great things. That girl sitting 2 rows in front of you may be writing the music that you listen to on the radio as you take a college road trip. That boy, sitting a few seats down from you, might be on your fantasy football team. That kid sitting a few rows behind you may be doing your taxes in the future. And who knows, some of these kids might be the unsung heroes, the underappreciated idols that your children will look up to and need to guide them through life. Whether you like it or not, the kids sitting in these seats right now are our collective future. And no matter how insignificant you may think you are or someone else is, I skipped a part. Whether you see being promoted as one step closer to law school, selling out Madison Square Garden, scoring a touchdown in front of a stadium full of cheering people, or just the next step, one thing is certain, and that is that everyone here has deep value and potential. We all rely on each other, whether you notice it or not. We are insignificant as isolated individuals, yet so instrumental in the grand scheme of things. I now realize what my cousin was really trying to say when he compared our school to the internet. He was trying to say that the originality and creativity of students here has created an environment that is so different from any other school, yet so interconnected and interdependent. We are a resource that is so isolated from anything else, yet so perfectly synchronized and together in all of our work. So I leave you with this. That original mindset that my cousin hinted at, It'll propel each and every one of us far in whatever direction we decide to head in, whether it be as individuals or as a group. No matter how insignificant you may think you are or someone else is, we are all dependent on one another to some extent. And I'm confident that this relationship of interdependence will continue through high school and for the rest of our lives. Before I sign off, I'd like to take a moment to thank the people who got me to where I am right now. First off, my parents and my grandparents, and my brother Sinan, who is in the audience. And finally, Mr. Taylor and Mr. O'Neill. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the Academy for this beautiful award. I wish you all good luck at the high school and have a great summer.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
I learned from you, you'll be with me, like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a sea dropped by sky bird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But
Because I knew you,
because I knew you,
I have been changed for good.
just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for things I've done you blame me for.
But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. By a wind off the
Like a
sea,
stream that meets
like a seed dropped by a bird in the wood. Who
can say
Just yesterday, it felt as if it was the first day of 6th grade, coming to the middle school to a new chapter in our lives, and not knowing what was to come. Now, here we are today, our 8th grade promotion. Today we are here to commemorate our accomplishments as the class of 2020. Who would have thought that 3 years would go by so fast? Good morning, fellow classmates, teachers, staff, and loved ones. My name is Courtney Patterson, the president of CMS's Student Council. One of my dearest friends, Hope Barris, was not put in today's program, but deserves recognition for all the wonderful work she has accomplished this year as CMS's Student Council Secretary. I am honored to have had the opportunity to speak today, and I'm humbled to have been your president this year. Our journey through middle school has allowed us to bloom into better people and has given us opportunities to grow and flourish as individuals. These 3 years have offered many chances for us to shine and to truly find ourselves. The mass amounts of extracurricular activities here have allowed us to find what suits us and lets us excel at what we do best. For me, having the type of student-run organization of Student Council was perfect. My whole life, I've always enjoyed being a leader. Being president has been one of the best things that could have ever happened to me and was a highlight of my middle school years. My 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Rathgaber, used to say that our education was like the building of a house. Elementary school was the foundation and framework, very important, and was the starting point. You wouldn't have a stable home without it. The K through 3 schools was where you learned all of your basic information that from there would allow you to further advance in your understanding of concepts in school. This was the foundation. CES would then be the framework. This would make the house stable. In CES, we took the fundamentals of the K through 3 schools and strengthened them. Middle school would then be the first floor of the house, high school the 2nd floor, and finally, college would complete the house by being the roof. We soon-to-be 9th graders have come so far in the building of our house, our education. We all have put in hours on top of hours of hard work in our schooling. No matter if we will be continuing in the Colonial School District or in another school, I know that all of us will do great things in life. Among the most amazing people we have met here are the teachers. They have taught and guided us throughout our 3 years here. They deserve to know how much they have impacted our lives. A special thanks to our 8th grade teachers. Please know that we are incredibly appreciative of all of your assistance and advice this year, furthering our understanding of ideas, for pushing us when we needed a challenge, and for supporting us. All in all, thank you for believing in us, praising us, and sharing in our journey. So many times in life, we wish time away. We wish that the day would just end, that the weekend would be here, for a period of time to be over, and we shouldn't. Oftentimes, we are too eager for everything to end, and we don't cherish the important moments in life. And soon, that day will be gone forever. Carpe diem. Seize the day, my friends, because we will never get that time back. And sometime in the future, we'll be wondering whatever happened to that day. We may regret not walking the extra mile, not taking that chance, so live life with no regrets. I hope that each one of us finds prosperity and happiness as we continue through our journey of life. Thank you to the Colonial Middle School for all it has done for us in the past 3 years, and to another great 4 years together. I cannot wait what the future holds in store for all of us.
At this time, I have the honor to convey the promotion certificates to members of the 8th grade Orange team. Since each child is being recognized for the same distinction, we ask that you please hold your applause and refrain from any other form of interruption until all 95 students from each of the 5 learning times has their name read. First, Mrs. Wells and Mrs. Eberly's learning time. Alexander Bell. Ellie Bergson. Margaret Brana. Ryan Cohen. Brandon Amell. Joseph English. Sophia Farrell. Sophia Ferjani. Nikolai Frankel. Jenica Gash. Rebecca Howard. Benjamin Maschio. Denandra McGowan. Brianne Middleton. Xavier Mitchell. Niles Rankin. Rebecca Schindler. Livia Trong. Leslie Valeriano Trujillo. And now for Mr. Yeagel's learning time. Dylan Burke. Thomas Kraft. Glenn Gash. Ryan Henry. Christopher Long. Eric Luba. Trevor McGee. Tahir Medley. Carter Mednick. Shane O'Shea. Kate Pisano. Gianna Price. Liam Reynolds. Kevin Rizzo. Niall Ross. Lauren Solino. Brianna Slifer. Anastasia Smith. Now for Mrs. Wistrick's homeroom. Phoebe Brotherton. Quinn Coyle. Melissa Ely. Amanda Feynman. Lily Goldberg. Melena Goldstein. Eugene Hahn. Dana Katz. Aubrey Manis. Daisy McCarsos. Hunter Pearson. Elvin Pedraza. William Pluto. Zane Reichley. Isabella Roberts. Guadalupe Rubio. Jesse Stern. Ethan Sa. Now for Mr. Bennett's learning time. Natalia Bakula. Jessica Bedford. Carmanju Davis. Elizabeth Deviney. Abigail Ellinger. Brett Feynman. Eric Ford. Ariel Greenberg. Sophia Mahmood. Morgan Rogers. Felicity Sherman Weller. Casey Sharp. Hannah Smith. Michael Stanton. Samantha Stiles. Moran Tekla Georges. Philip White. Caleb Willard. And now for my learning time, Sarah Braun, Anthony Briglio, Sierra Charles, Brian Dresden, Julia Evan, Jason Fabrell, Jackson Field, Francis Ford, Nicholas Hayes, Alexis Jaron, Austin Connect, Kelly Kolka, Samantha Lowenstern, Medina Mavlianova, Aiden McGinn, Sean McGee, James Wood, Charles Janishik, and Chase Yoakum. Please join me in congratulating the 8th grade Orange Team. And now, Mr. Hankins with the 8th grade Green Team.
At this time, I have the honor to present the promotion certificates to members of the 8th grade Green Team. Since each child on my team is being recognized for the same distinction, we ask once again that you would please hold your applause and refrain from any other form of interruption until all 98 students on my team's names have been read. First, Mrs. Culp's learning time. Jordan Briggs. Emma Brogy, Richard Custer, Alexis DePaul, Carly Green, Hannah Grippo, Aaliyah Hall, Aaron Hoy, Justin Labriciano, Michael McBride, Brian McIntyre, Timothy McNally, Brian Menkhouse, Dylan Moldovsky, Jenna Nurek, Isabella Schaefer, Madison Silverstein, Rachel Sterling. Now for Mrs. Slattery's learning time. Ava Bedwell, Ryan Cohen, Gabriella Delacandro, Zachary Davis, Michael Eckelmeyer, Melissa Flax, Samuel Corrala, Alexander Kraus, Grace McCall, Cade Missimore, Aria Malgo, Maya Ranzier, Alexander Stout, Lindsay Sturkey, Stephen Sykes, Jonathan Threadgill, Brenda White, Chloe Wilson, Eric Zalea, Christian Ziernicki, Children's Learning Time. Rebecca Burley, Elijah Colazzo, Brandon DeYoung, Paul DeSanto, Alexis Duffy, Alice English, Ryan Jett, Sophia Hoy, Angelo Iannazelli, Talia Kaganovsky, Jonah Kaufman, Hannah Kushner, Emelita Marcucci, Mara McDonald, Alexis Miner, Zachary Redican, Spencer Riley, Molly Sadell, Clara Schatz, Jack Stanzak. Now, Mr. Tragone's Learning Time. Zoe Allison, Taimir Ash Shaheed, Nicholas Bell, Mark Bruger, Jacob Davis, Benjamin Felgois, Megan Flanagan, Maya Folia, Jaden Glover, Jordan Goldring, Jason Green, Connor Keogh, Liana Lozada, Michael Pacello, Vivian Fan, Devin Riley, Jada Smith, Ryan Sucro, Patrick Wainwright, Bryson Williams. Next, my own time. Raquel Baskin, Ruby Bender, John Catagnas, Felice DeSanto, Erica Dawkins Smith, Jessica Frangiosa, Christopher Getchell, Grace Guy, Dominic Laporte, Nicole Lazarus, Noel Levins, Corey Luber, Andrew McClure, Chad McNally, Raven Phillips, Ryan Scott, Annika Shula, Raymond Trainer, Tyler Williams, Benjamin Uter. Please join me in congratulating the 8th grade green team. At this time, we'll turn it over to Mrs. Cox with the red team.
At this time, I have the proud honor to present promotion certificates to members of the 8th grade Red Team. Since each child is being recognized for the same distinction, we ask that you please hold your applause and refrain from any other form of interruption until all 1,962 are read. Mr. Gebhardt's learning time. Emerson Abramovich. Brianna Beasley. Rachel Casey. David Coleman. Matthew Dolan. Thomas Downey. Nicholas Fulginetti. Cameron Kaprinsky. Carlos Laguna. Alexander Lifshutz. Benjamin Lubus. Autumn Luptak. Marissa Nierenberg. Colleen Wynn. Ava Quinn. Adam Rocks. Julia Rome. Ureli Sigala. Jordan Stokes. Nicole Tier. Now for Mr. Engel's learning time. Lauren Blazek. Troy Bowers. Audrey Chin. Sophia DiDonato. Kayla Link. Maxwell Marshall. April Miller. Kenny Mungan. Liam Moore. Nathan Sfida. Noah Shubin. Sophia Simmerall. Lucas Soa. Lucy Sullivan. Brandon Verlin. Matthew Watkins. John Weber. Emma Weintraub. And now for Mrs. McCracken's learning time. Justin Adler. Issa Crawley. Quindarius Dye. Edward Elias. Tanya Fernandez. Lisa Gibson. Gianna Haldeman. Ayana Labrui. Joshua Levin. Maxwell Lubas. Angel Mojave. Christopher Mazalik Biddy. Ryan Moore. Adam Rampone. Anthony Roca. Connor Smith. Shelby Stokes. Andrew Tenaglio. Logan Restifer. And now for Mrs. Przansky's learning time. Jack Ashton. Om Bagara. Alicia Brown. Kelly Coles. David Delaney. William Ellinger. Ali Eskandari. Vincent Gillespie Ragusa. Ikea Griffin. William Harris. Leanne Koo. Brandon Leibowitz. Samantha Marshall. Aruj Mirza. Alexis Moore. Courtney Patterson. Andrew Schilt. John Sun. And now for my learning time. Jacqueline Arcaro. Hope Barrist. Tyler Belford. Kylie Bosket. Anthony Burns. Nicholas Choi. Jack Durfler. Elisa DeSimone. Edward Doherty. Aiden Fermonti. Jacob Fink. Caitlin Fuller. Lydia Godshaw. Ty Green. Molly Hamaday. Joshua Lynch. Skyla Ann Rook. Carla Sampieri. Zidre Tancinco. Daniel Watkins. Please join me in congratulating the 8th grade Red Team. And now, here's Mrs. Prickett with the 8th grade Blue Team. Thank you.
At this time, I have the honor to present the promotion certificates to members of the 8th grade Blue Team. Again, since each child is being recognized for the same distinction, please hold your applause and refrain from any other interruption until students from all of the homerooms have had their name read. First, Mr. Clark's learning time. Tara Al-Salim. Brooke Balkowitz. Catherine Branscombe. Sarah Buell. Madeline Burke. Brendan Duff. Jillian Gallagher. Brianna Gonzalez. Tyler Hiblin. Alexander Mansfield. Devaj Martin. Colin Mash. Vincent Montleone. Anthony Petrilli. Kevin Rosenberger. Harrison Runyon. Scott Siegel. Maxine Slowick. Sage Snyder. Diana Suarez. Caitlin Turner. Nicholas Wurst. And now for Mr. Fabio's learning time. Fatima Al-Samak. Jack Bank, Lauren Carter, Jaden Silk, Maya DeGuglielmo, Ryan Duff, Annika Eisner, Erin Gaffney, Roberto Gonzalez, Morgan Green, Kayla Heinzer, Angus Johnson, Olivia Mariano, Alex Narkevich, Jordan Ortiz Grossman, Demi Ring, Hannah Ryan, Dylan Strunk, Caitlin Wakefield, Isabel Williamson. And now for Mrs. Grugan's learning time. Curtis Barr, Haley Bartle, Allison Borio, Dalton Carlisle, Jared Cohen, Julia Downey, Morgan Heffelfinger, Rachel Kalani, Jared Kreckstein, Sophia Lepore, Jenna McCrae, Larry McLaughlin, Ainsley Marasco, Kaylee Oshesky, Jake Valentine, Claudia Vitrone. And now for Mr. Rothstein's learning time. Kelly Antrim, Kyle Brady, Dominic Chiffone, Adam Denofa, Riley Farbstein, Colin Franzoni, Aaron Goldstein, Kamal Gray, Leah Ingram, Caleb Kelly, Kevin McCrae, Alexis Moreland, Kyrie Norris, Caleb Rotloff, Alexander Rudolph, Glenn Smith, Sarah Summers, Samantha Suchland, Jake Weekle, Kalia Williams, Max Wittenberg. And now for my learning time. Tierra Bond, Caroline Borio, Sydney Borislow, Lenny Brenner, Ryan Browning, Chelsea Cohen, Laura Cooper, John DeBoe, Melanie Halbert, Paul Harity, Natalie Kamenecki, Dean Keller, Leah Kijak, Jonathan Moore, Evan Moreland, Madeline O'Brien, Andrew Reeses, Abigail Rosen, Allison Ruck, Christian Vitrone. Please join me in congratulating the 8th grade Blue Team. Congratulations once again to all of the CMS 8th grade graduates this morning. We kindly ask all of our guests to remain seated until the students have had a chance to exit to the front light court, and we welcome you to join the students there. Thank you and enjoy your day.